So the common drain or source follower amplifier is what we are going to see in this video. So the common drain or source follower is nothing but like your emitter follower, how it is going to be there, your output is going to follow the input. So the name itself tells it is common drain. So that means that drain terminal is going to be common between the input and the output terminals there. So we are going to establish as ground at the drain terminal because it is going to be common at the as to the input as well as at the output. So input is going to be between the gain and the drain terminal, and the output is going to be between the source and the drain terminal there. So here like how we call your common source and common gate, the same way we can call this as common drain or grounded drain amplifier there, or the other name we can call it as your source follower. So source follower is output follows the input. So in that case gain is going to be 1. So here your figure 4a is going to show the common drain amplifier, and since this is drain is going to be a function as a signal ground, we are not going to use any resistance, drain resistance RD, like how in the previous circuits we have used your drain resistance RD. We will not be using in this circuit your drain resistance RD there, and it has been eliminated. So now as usual for an amplifier, the input signal should be free from your DC voltages. So for that we are going to use your coupling capacitor CC1 to the MOSFET gate, and the output gate of the MOSFET source is going to be coupled to the output using a coupling capacitor CC2 to the load resistance RL. So this is your basic block diagram. So now we are going to have your source terminal, that is your drain terminal. So your drain terminal is going to be directly connected to your VDD. Here your source terminal is going to be connected to your minus VGS, that is going to have a constant current source. Now we are going to take the output terminal at the source terminal there. So here your input signal V signal is going to be given to your R signal. Through R signal it is going to be connected to the coupling capacitor, which is going to be used to remove the DC voltages if any is going to be present, and RG is going to be the input resistance that is going to be fed to the that is your MOSFET of your amplifier, and CC2 is going to be the coupling capacitor which is going to be taken on the output to remove any DC components that is going to be present, and the output is going to be taken across the load resistance. So if I take the input from your before your C1, then CC1 coupling capacitor, it is called as your RI1. So if I am going to take it after your CC2, it is going to be R out. So the small signal equivalent is going to be your V signal, R signal you are going to have, your coupling capacitor you are going to have it as a short circuit, and your RG resistance is going to be present there. So the MOSFET is going to be replaced by your current source, and it is going to be replaced by a current gain, that is nothing but 1 by GM. It is your output resistance 1 by GM that is going to be connected in parallel to your R naught. There is between the drain. So when I am going to draw the signal source, all the voltage sources, that is the biasing voltages, should be made to ground. The biasing voltages here are nothing but a VDD voltage and your minus VGS voltage there. So that is going to be made to ground there. Then we are going to draw the equivalent circuit. The MOSFET is going to be replaced by a current source and by the resistance 1 by GM, where we are going to have a parallel resistance R0 to be present. So we are going to take the T model there. And next is your C is nothing but the small signal analysis that is going to be performed on the circuit. So small signal analysis is nothing but the MOSFET we are going to have, VDD is going to be grounded, RL is going to be grounded. Your current source, if it is, there is going to be open circuited. So for small signal analysis, if there is a current source, open circuited; if there is no voltage source, short circuited. So here if I am going to open, so this one means in that case it is going to be 1 by GM is going to be parallel with your R0, and the source is going to be connected to your across the load resistance there. So in that case the CC is going to be short circuited, and I am going to have my load resistance RL to be present. So the circuit, this is going to be the circuit which is going to be used for determining your R out, the output resistance of the source follower. So since your RL is going to be connected in series with the source terminal of the transistor, it is called as the current source, or it is going to act as an open circuit as far as the signals are concerned. So here we are going to use the MOSFET T model. So the resulting small signal equivalent circuit of the common drain amplifier is shown in your figure 4b there. So the input resistance is going to be given as the input resistance. If I am going to see, it is going to be only your RG, a gate resistance RG. And now we are going to see what is going to be the V1 voltage. So V1 voltage is nothing but the voltage that is going to be present at the your V1 voltage is nothing but the voltage that is going to be present across your RG. So in that case, your total voltage V6 into R in divided by R in plus R signal. So your V signal into R in is nothing but we know it is equivalent to RG. So replace R in by RG. So it is RG by RG plus R signal. So usually we know that your input resistance of the MOSFET is going to be very high than the signal voltage there. So when it is going to be very high, I can neglect my R signal resistance, and in that case it will be your V signal into RG by RG. So that means that my VI input voltage is going to be equivalent to V signal voltage. So here your R naught, the output resistance, is going to be in effect in parallel with your load resistance. So here in that case, that is between the gate and the ground. So gate and between the gate and the ground terminal, we have a resistance called 1 by Gm, which is going to be in series with your RL parallel R naught. So the signal VI is going to appear across this total resistance. So here we may use an voltage divider rule. So V0 is equal to VI into across the voltage, it is nothing but RL parallel R0 divided by RL parallel R0 plus 1 by Gm. So now we want, our requirement is to find out voltage gain. So voltage gain is nothing but V0 by Vi. So V0 by Vi is equal to RL parallel R0 divided by RL parallel R0 plus 1 by Gm. And the open circuit voltage gain is going to be given as AV0 is equal to, so if I simplify it, your RL is going to be very large value. So in that case, your R0 divided by R0 plus 1 by Gm. So normally we know that your output resistance R0 is going to be very much greater than 1 by Gm. So here in this case, causing your open circuit voltage gain from gate to source, AV0 in equation 5 to become nearly unity there. So in that case, the voltage at the source, so when R0 is going to be greater than 1 by Gm, so here this 1 by Gm gets cancelled, R0 by R0, that is nothing but 1. That means that the open circuit voltage gain is going to be unity. So the voltage at the source is going to follow the voltage at the gate. So giving the circuit the name source follower. So output voltage is equivalent to the input voltage. So in many discrete applications, your R0 is going to be greater than RL. So here we can approximate that equation to be AV is equivalent to RL divided by RL plus 1 by Gm. That is R0, RL here if I am going to take AV is nothing but RL parallel R0. That is your RL R0 divided by R0 plus RL. So we know that your RL is going to be, R0 is going to be greater. So R0 is going to be greater than RL means denominator I can omit your RL value. So the numerator I have R0, denominator I have R0, that gets cancelled and the numerator will be just RL divided by RL plus 1 by Gm. So the overall voltage gain, it can be found by combining your equations 1 and 4. So with the result that GV is equivalent to RG divided by RG plus R6 into RL parallel R0 divided by RL parallel R0 plus 1 by Gm. So it is going to approach unity. That means that when Rg is going to be greater than your R signal voltage, R signal resistance, and R0 is going to be greater than 1 by Gm, and R0 is going to be greater than your load resistance RL, then automatically gain, the overall voltage gain is going to be 1. So the circuit for determining the output resistance is shown in figure 4D here. So the gate voltage is now going to be 0. If the gate voltage is going to be 0, whenever you want to find out your output resistance, your input signal voltage should be 0. If it is 0, the gate voltage is now 0. So looking back into the source, we see between the source and the ground a resistance 1 by Gm, which is going to be in parallel with your R0. So we are going to see that looking back in the source, we see between the source and the ground a resistance 1 by Gm in parallel with R0. Thus, your R out is equal to 1 by Gm parallel R0. So we are going to have your R naught is going to be greater than 1 by Gm. So reducing your R out to 1 by Gm, which indicates that R out will be moderately low. So the source follower circuit is going to have a large amount of internal feedback, and its resistance Rn is going to be independent of RL, and thus Ri is equivalent to Rin, and its ROM, that is the minimizing resistor, is going to be independent of your R signal. So the reason for this is, however, we are going to have a zero gate current. So the source follower, it is going to have a very high input resistance and a low output resistance. So and the voltage gain is going to be unity, or less than or but close to unity there. So when it is going to be less than unity, it is going to be provided, that is, it finds an application where the voltage source is going to provide a signal of reasonable magnitude and very high input resistance to a much smaller load resistance there. It is called unity gain buffer amplifier. So the source follower is going to be used as the output stage in a multi-stage amplifier, where its function is to equip the overall amplifier with a low output resistance, so thus enabling it to supply relatively large load currents without the loss of gain. Next is we are going to see your FET phase shift oscillator. So in your FET phase shift oscillator, we are going to show that FET based phase shift oscillator, the basic FET amplifier is going to be self-biased with a source resistance Rs bypassed by the capacitance Cs and a drain biased resistor Rd. So here the gain of the FET amplifier is going to be given as AV is equal to minus Gm into Rd dash, where your Rd dash is equal to Rd parallel Rd. So here we assume that we know that the input impedance of FET is going to be infinite, and this assumption is going to be valid in your low frequency range of operation of the phase shift oscillator. So as in this, the frequency, the effect of capacitive impedance can be neglected. So this is your RC phase shift oscillator using your FET. So as I said, your RC oscillator amplifier is going to provide, your FET amplifier is going to provide a 180 degree phase shift, and your 3 RC pairs is going to provide 180 degree phase shift. So the total phase shift around this oscillator is going to be 360 degrees there. So each RC pair is going to produce a 60 degree phase shift there. So you can see that the feedback network will not load the amplifier, because your output resistance Rd dash is going to be much smaller in comparison with the R value there. So here now we are going to have your output resistance Rd is in comparison to R. So now we are going to find out your frequency of oscillation. So in a frequency of oscillation, we are going to have your, if I apply the KVL for the first loop, it is going to be I1. I1 is going to be the current, the feedback path we are going to take. The feedback path is 1 CR, 1 CR and 1 CR. So that is going to be fed back here. So I1 into 1 by j omega c plus I1 into R minus I2R is equal to V naught. So second equation is I1R plus I2 into 1 by j omega c plus I2 into 2R minus I3R is equal to 0. Apply a KVL equation to the individual loops, you will get this equation. So now if I am going to solve this equation 1, we are going to have I2 is equal to I3 into 2 plus 1 by j omega CR, and I1 is equal to I2 into 2 plus j 1 by j omega CR minus I3. So that is nothing but I3, I1 in terms of I3. So here I3 is equal to I3 into 3 plus 4 by j omega CR minus omega square C square R square, and I3R is equal to V naught by 1 minus 5 alpha square minus j into 6 alpha minus alpha cube, where alpha is nothing but 1 by omega RC. So now I3R is equal to V dash j is equal to minus Vf is the feedback voltage. Therefore, the feedback factor beta is given by minus beta is equal to Vf dash by V naught. That is equal to 1 by 1 minus 5 alpha square minus j into 6 alpha minus alpha cube. So for 180 degree phase shift, the coefficient of j in equation 12.10 must be 0. So alpha square is equal to 6. So R omega is equal to 1 by CR into root 6, or the frequency of oscillation is going to be given as F is equal to 1 by 2 pi CR into root 6. and at the frequency of oscillation the value of the feedback factor, that is the gain, should be 1 by 29. So the minimum value of the gain of the amplifier should be 29. So if it multiplies only, the total loop gain should be 1. So 1 by 29 into 29 is going to be 1. So for sustained oscillation at a frequency 1 by 2 pi RC into root 6. Thank you.